Hi folks, my name is David Negrier. I work at The Coding Machine and I am the lead developer of the Mouf framework. And today I'm pretty happy to show you a quick presentation of the Mouf framework. So let's get started. Mouf is a special kind of PHP framework. If you've been working with Symfony or Cake PHP, you're certainly very used to MVC framework. Mouf is not an MVC framework. It's a framework whose ultimate goal is to make it easy to use and reuse PHP code. So unlike MVC framework, it's a dependency injection framework, really. The goal is to help you bind together PHP classes and to put them together like if they were Lego bricks. Because it must be easy, you can bind those Lego bricks, those classes in fact, graphically, using a nice interface instead of having thousands of configuration files like you can see in other dependency injection frameworks. We've really been working hard on making using Mouf really easy and friendly. It also comes with a packaging system, and there are already many packages available from Mouf. You can find a templating system, you can find also an MVC framework based on Mouf, you can find a DB connection layer, a complete logging system if you want. There are really a lot of packages. You can also use Mouf with Symfony, with the Zen framework if you used it. You can use Mouf with Drupal. At the Coding Machine we do that a lot, actually. So really you can use Mouf with pretty much any other framework. It integrates really well. In this first tutorial, I'm just gonna focus on explaining how to use existing components and existing packages. So we will use the templating system of Mouf to build a quick web page, and this will show you how to use Mouf very quickly. In a later tutorial, I will try to explain how you can build your own components and integrate your components with the components of other developers, because this is really what Mouf is about. So let's get started. So we will first start by creating a component. I've got already a Mouf project that is set up. My Mouf installation is here, as you can see. If you haven't installed Mouf yet or don't know how to install it, there is a nice video tutorial on the Mouf website, so I advise you to have a look at it. So my installation is here and it's set up. If I start Firefox, as you can see, the installation is here. So I'm gonna connect to Mouf, to the Mouf administration. I'm gonna log in. And here we are. So let's start. We want to install a we want to install a templating system. So the first thing we want to do is download the template to be able to use it. So in the menu, I've got a nice download packages item. So here Mouf is downloading the packages list on the Mouf server, and I'm gonna use the templating system is in the HTML group, in the template subgroup. So here I've got many packages, and I'm gonna use the splash template. It's a special kind of template that I like to use to get quick started. So I'm gonna click on enable, and Mouf is gonna tell me, okay, the splash template is depending on all those packages, so I need to install those packages as well. Okay, cool. Enable all listed packages. I click on this button and the install procedure is going on, and right now everything is enabled, so that's cool. I'm gonna click on continue. If I go back in the directory here, all packages are downloaded in the plugins directory. So if I go in plugins and I click on HTML template, I can see that now Mouf downloaded the splash template. Here, version 2.0, and the whole code has been downloaded and installed. So downloading the package is okay, but now we need to use it. In order to use a package, actually a package contains components, and when you want to use a component, you have to instantiate it. Actually, a component is a class, and an instance of a component is just like an instance of a class in PHP, so it's a variable. So I'm gonna click the Create a New Instance button, and here I've got all the components available, and luckily I've got the splash template that has been added. Okay, so I'm going to name my instance. For instance, I'm going to name it my template. Okay, I'm gonna create this instance. Create. So now everything is fine, and I've got my instance created. I can configure it now. I can see that a splash template is made of components that go on the left in the content, on the right it's an HTML template actually, on the header, whatever. I'm not gonna configure it right now. I'm gonna show you how to use this instance into your PHP code. So we're gonna go in Eclipse. I'm using Eclipse, you can use NetBeans or whatever actually. My project is here, and I'm gonna create a new file. Here we go. I'm gonna name it test.php. Here is my file. So the first thing I want to do is I want to include Mouf into this file. So I'm going to require mouf.php, and that's it. There is only one required line, and that's enough to include Mouf and any interesting packages that I included through the download mechanism. Mouf is quite intelligent enough to load the classes I'm going to use on the fly using the PHP autoload mechanism, so I don't have to be afraid of including a lot of packages and a lot of components that are really loaded on the fly. Now I've got Mouf, and what I'm gonna do, well, first I'm gonna refresh the project. Why am I doing that? It's because when I built my component and my instance, Mouf regenerated a number of files internally, and especially the Mouf class. The Mouf class is the class that I can use easily to get instances. And here I know I've been using Mouf to create a myTemplate instance, so I've got a getMyTemplate method that appeared magically. And this will return the instance of the template I can use. So I'm gonna use this instance, and I'm gonna store it in a variable, so let's name it myTemplate. Here we go. What's interesting also is that I've got autocompletion enabled. For instance, if I use a row like this, I can see all the methods that go into the template. I can set a title, whatever. I've got methods to add some text in the middle. For instance, I'm gonna make an hello world sample. And finally, what's interesting with template is having the HTML, and there is a draw method to do that. So just with this example, and by downloading the package, I can already have a nice template displayed. So let's check. I'm gonna open a new tab here, go back on the demo, and gonna see what my test.php file is looking. And well, here it is. I've got my template, you can see it, and I've got the hello world sample that has been added. I'm gonna go back at my template. As you can see, I've got a nice documentation here. I've got properties, which are actually variables of the template class, left, content, right, and so on. And I've got each time some documentation associated with those properties. What is it interesting with Mouf is that this documentation has not been configured separately. It's directly in the class. Let me show you. If I'm looking at splash template class. Well, the splash template class is quite small, but I can see there is documentation here, and this documentation is the documentation I will see in the Mouf framework. It extends the base template. The base template has left content right that we saw in the interface, and here I've got documentation too for these variables. And this documentation, I find it directly in the user interface. It's Mouf can find the documentation automatically. So really, Mouf enforces you into good development practice. Mouf relies on your class's documentation to build components, and it relies on it shows you the documentation. So really, it helps you build better code, and if you document your classes well, you don't have to make a separate documentation. You can, of course, but really, auto documentation is really important, and Mouf helps you do that. So let's go back on our sample. Here, I've got only a splash template with an hello world, and let's say I want to add a menu on the left, but I don't want to do that with code. Maybe I would like to do that through the Mouf interface by binding components together. Maybe I want to build a menu component and bind it to the template. I can do that, and I will show you how to do that now. I'm gonna say I want to add a menu on the left, so I want to add a component on the left side of the template. Here, I have already a few basic examples, but I'm gonna create a new instance. I'm gonna create a new instance of what class? Good question. I could create a new instance of file, whatever. I've got here a splash menu renderer that can be used to render files. So I'm gonna create this instance, and I will name it menu renderer. Basically, a menu renderer is a class that is used to render menus. So here is my component menu renderer. The menu renderer needs a menu to be rendered, so I'm gonna create my menu. Okay. The class of the menu is menu. Okay, cool. Let's create it. And now a menu can contain many children. So let's add a child, new instance, and I can add menu items, single menu items in a whole menu. So I'm gonna make a link. We don't have many pages in this application, so I'm gonna make a link maybe to the Mouf website. So I'm gonna build a Mouf website menu item. I'm gonna name it like that. It's a menu item. I create it, and here we go. We have a label. So let's name it Mouf website. We have a URL, like this, and I can have add submenus. I can decide if the menu must be in active state to show the current pages. I've got a lot of properties actually. I can also decide there is a translation service, so I can decide that the label is translated into the user's current language. I don't want to bother with all this, so I'm gonna save my menu item. I'm gonna go back here to the menu and I'm gonna add maybe another menu. Okay, let's do a link to Google, for instance. Here we go. Label Google, URL, and here we go. I'm gonna save this menu, and that's it. So basically, I've been building a bunch of instances. I've been binding those together, and now let's see if it works. Let's go to our Splash website. Let's refresh the page, and ta-da! Here we are. So I've got my menu, Google, Mouf website. If I click on the menu, I'm going on the Mouf website. So that's pretty much it for this presentation. We have seen how to build packages together. I hope you enjoyed it. Build components together, sorry. And for this presentation, we've been using really a simple sample with a templating system, but Mouf is really not about template. Keep in mind that you can bind any kind of components together, components to send mails, components to like controllers, and we have not touched any configuration file. This is the important point. If you've been doing some Java, you've maybe used the Spring framework with its infamous XML configuration files. There is nothing such as a configuration file in Mouf. Really, the point is you click on the interface and you bind your components together. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and in the next tutorial we will see how you can bind your own components and bind them together with existing components to make application very quickly. So see you soon, guys.